Hey everybody, it's Matthew Lee with the Tao of Kung Fu, and this morning I wanted to talk a little bit about meditation and help getting everybody started with good Zen, or in China it's called Chan, Buddhist meditation. The key concept of meditation is to help with stress relief and reduction and being able to handle stress better and just create a healthy... The basic concept of meditation is that there's two different ways to meditate in the most basic category. One style of meditation is when you take on an object and you meditate on that object intently so that you are focused on something, and that is taking away all of the distractions around you. Then at a higher level of meditation, you lose the object and you are just meditating, and you're just out or you're in, and you just let insights and teachings come to you rather than using a focus of an object. It takes a little bit of skill and understanding to get to that spot. So just think of it as focused. Right now, unfocused. We don't have to worry about the more abstract portion of it. We're just working on focused meditation. And what that means is we're intently keeping our mind concentrated on one particular thing. A lot of times you see people using a candle or a tree or a stream or all sorts of different things like that. In the lineage that I studied, that I really like the best, is the Zen or Chan Buddhist style, where the internal focus is on the heart. And we use the heart as our metronome in order to count the lengths of our breath. And so I'm going to get into this in a lot more future videos, but that's the first thing. So let's just take a second and look at our position. I've got a bolster under me because that helps keep my legs in a little bit lower position than my hips, and it relieves my lower back just a little bit so I can sit for a little bit longer time before my body starts being very distracting to me and making me quit. So I want as good of a long meditation as possible. And in order to get into the correct position, I fold the leg, and I can bring it clear up at the thigh if I want to. The other leg below me is going to drop down and tuck underneath. This is called a half lotus, and it's very comfortable to sit in. You can go pressing the legs closer and closer together. It really works the IT band as well. If you're feeling it in the knee, you might want to open it up, and you can also do it a little looser, like you're in this position. You're on your sit bones evenly, and your lower back is flat. The spine is up nice and straight. The chin is pushed back so the crown point of the head is elevated, and the nape of the neck is flat. So that's called one of the gates, or one of the locks, where you're doing this. And this helps with a nice, slow breathing in and breathing out. To get started, let's do what they call a bellows breath, or a cleansing breath, where you're just filling your lungs as much as possible, and then you're emptying them as much as possible. Doing another one. Now focus also on how the torso expands as you inhale and contract. You want to try to get this expansion all the way down to the lower abdomen. Now I know you're not filling your belly with air, but you want to envision that that's the case. So filling the lungs completely, the back expands, the lower abdomen and lower back expand as well. And then when we're exhaling, they're contracting. Now the bellows breath is loud and forceful, even though it's pretty long and drawn out. It's not just right? It's filling and expanding and then emptying and contracting. As we're doing the rest of the breathing, it's incredibly quiet. You cannot hear this breath at all. So the entire time you're breathing, your goal should be, if somebody were sitting right next to you, they should not be able to hear an ounce of breath ever. The only indication that you might be inhaling is that there's a little expansion. But you eventually want to get to where you're inhaling so slow that somebody couldn't even sense and see, have any perception of you expanding or contracting. That's how slow. Initially, we're going to try to listen inward to the heart. So as we quiet the breath, we're going to draw our intention inward and pull down and try to sense the heart. Now, if you're talking, or you have disruptive music, or your phone is going off, or there's a lot of action around you, and you're new to this, it's going to be very difficult to listen for the heart. So pause the video for just a second, quiet yourself down, draw your intention in and down to the heart, and see if you can't get a sensation of your heartbeat. That's called listening to the heart. That's pause the video for a minute and see if you can't do that. Go ahead and try it. Don't skip pausing the video and trying this. I want you to really get a good sense of this. So pause the video. Welcome back. I hope that you paused the video. Did you? If not, go back and try it out and make sure that you get a sense of that. And if you don't get a sensation of your heartbeat, whether you're actually getting a physical feel of it, or you're actually hearing it, or you're actually sensing the blood flow and the heartbeat would be amazing. Go ahead and just practice that. Practice it every time you get into a quiet space. Or even better, create a quiet space and practice that, drawing in and listening for your heartbeat. And that itself is an amazing meditation. The more you can do that, the more benefit you're going to get out of it, and you're going to get that good internal practice to the point where I can be in the middle of the city with jackhammers and sirens and people and cars going by and airplanes overhead and wind and birds and all sorts of stuff going on, and I can just whoop, and I'm in, and I'm feeling the heartbeat, and it doesn't matter what's going on around me. I could be being mugged with everybody taking my phone and my wallet, and I would just be like in blissful state. That's what you want, though, is for people to stop. Alright. That's what you want, is for any place you can just draw in and get that instant calmness. Then we continue our internal focus and we drop it down to the Dantian region, which is halfway between the belly button, the navel, and the pubic bone. And it's inside. Like, think of something like the size of a fist resting on your spine. So if this is your spine, and this is your front, this is your back, this is you, your Dantian, right there. So say this is the pelvic bone, this is the navel at the wrist, this is going to be right here. So right in front, like you swallowed a golf ball or an orange. Right in front of the spine, halfway between the navel. We're going to focus on drawing energy into this area as we breathe in. So from the whole body, coming up from the legs, coming up from the arms, in from the mouth, nose, the top of the head, the sacrum, the kidneys and spine, the shoulder blades and chest, everything pulling energy in like a black hole. You want to create a visualization process for this. I go over it a little bit in one of my articles that is on my website. You can, I'll put a link up to that for you so you can see the internalization, the cultivation. When we breathe in, that's what's going on, is we're drawing our energy down. When we breathe out, we're actually compacting it like crumpling up a wad of paper or something like that, or a dirt clod or a snowball. Everything's coming in and nothing's going out. So this is a cultivation process. You can categorize a lot of the martial meditations into, or the health meditations, into two categories. That is cultivation, or the use of energy once it's cultivated. So processing or cultivation. This is a cultivation energy. It's a fundamental one, a basic one, a foundation energy, builder. So it's what you want to start with. You can't use energy until you build energy. So the first one is build. So from here, we're going to use our heart to be the count for this cultivation process as we're breathing. So if the heart is going at this pace here, we're going to have the tongue curled up, touching the hard palate on the roof of the mouth. We're going to breathe in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out through the mouth. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So cultivating in. And then out. Cultivating in. And out. Even if you don't have a sense of your heartbeat yet, you want to do a metronome. You can download them on your smartphones, or I'm sure maybe on your computer they've got metronome. I know they have metronome sites on music sites where you can start a metronome. Or you can just snap your fingers. You can have a simple drum rhythm and count with it. So one of the keys to this, though, is stimulating your senses. And this is a secret to meditation that you don't hear of very frequently at all, and people definitely don't talk about it or pass it on. But it's very, very powerful, and this is a mind-expanding concept of meditation. So it's very important, because a lot of people, especially I live in San Francisco, I hear several times a day about the mind-expanding benefits of this drug or this drug. This seems to be like Pot Central. And I mean, I don't care if people are doing that type of stuff around me, not necessarily in my home or whatever, like that I don't put up with. But I don't care, like everybody does it here. So everybody is benefits of like mind expansion, but they go for this easy out of just using this particular substance, when I really am completely convinced you can do the same thing with your mind. The mind expansion capabilities of meditation are incredible. So the concept of it is multitasking with your brain. So already we're multitasking from simple things to much more complex things. So simply, we're in a posture. We're maintaining that posture. One little fraction of the pie graph of our attention and focus has to be on this posture. The legs this way, the hips this way, the spine this way, the neck this way, the tongue up, the eyes, all that. Then we've got movement happening, which is a little bit less simple, where we're expanding with the exhalation or inhalation, contracting with the exhalation. We have to coordinate all of that. That's continuing the multitasking and the mind expansion of the brain. It makes it more difficult, because as I'm concentrating on all this, my body can get out of whack and I can lose my focus on the posture. have to come back to the posture and then keep the coordination of the breath and the body expanding and contracting. Number 3, I'm drawing in and I'm listening to the heart. That's a really difficult one because it creates really major focus. And once I listen to the heart, I start counting the heartbeats, which help me stay focused on the heart, but I lose the attention, or it's easier to lose the attention to the movement that should be happening in the torso with the inhalation and exhalation, and the posture. So I'm really starting to stack on the multitasking. Then I go to the cultivation process that's happening in the Dantian, where I'm drawing in all of this abstract imagination and I'm crunching it together as I exhale, which makes it easy to forget to expand and contract, and it makes it really easy to lose the perception of the heartbeat. So all of these things can become very, very distracting and pull the focus out of whack. Plus, I'm trying to concentrate on not listening to the music, not listening to the people walk around upstairs, not listening to the sirens, the jackhammers, and all of that. So I have to be really focused, and my will gets honed sharper and sharper the more and more I focus on this.